What? Do I have voicemails from you? I don't have any voicemails from you written down.
I know I left you a voicemail that I was laughing so hard about while I was leaving the voicemail.
And I have it right here. Let's see.
Attaching death threats to pigeons.
Oh God, that's what I sound like. All right, I'm sorry.
If I heard correctly, it was attaching death threats to pigeons.
Yeah, I don't think that's viable. Man down! Oh my God! Oh my God! Flocky's hurt! Medic! 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 We're losing him! In the arms of an angel, far away from here. Why, God, why? In this dark, cold hotel room, and that you feel. It's the Pocky Flocky shit show. Episode 6.
So, I have to say, the funniest parts is when you don't know what words to sing next in your song. But also...
I didn't put the lyrics in my notes and I'm just suddenly blanking on it.
But for audience reference, Tom said, I'm going to start the podcast now. And then just started making machine gun and helicopter noises. And I'm sitting here just like, I'm trying to stay as quiet as possible to get the full effect of what's happening. And I'm just completely dumbfounded on what I have no context of what this is. Because what you told me was, I'm gonna start with the Burger King story. And...
Well, no, I had to introduce the podcast. I had introduced that you were listening to the Pocky Flocky shit show.
I thought
Pocky.
I thought you were just gonna start with a funny story. I was not expecting Saving Private Flocky coming to digital Blu-ray and VHS.
Oh yeah, ultraviolet. Gotta get that ultraviolet download.
Laserdisc, 8-track.
Today I went to Burger King. And I'm going to lay this out with all of the facts. Because facts are important in this situation. I go into Burger King. I order my Whopper. I order my onion rings. And my large Diet Coke. And then I sit down in the Burger King. And I'm listening to headphones, not earbuds, visible headphones. And so I am sitting here listening to the relaxing sounds of Eminem's Relapse. And suddenly I hear a sound to my left. This could be patrons talking, doesn't matter, doesn't affect me at all. And then it's even louder. And then I turn, and there's a Burger King employee looking at me. So this Burger King employee now taps on my shoulder, but I mean taps, I mean aggressively pushes on my shoulder. So I take my headphones off and he's just making the same sound over and over again. It's just, and then I eventually start to decode what he's saying after my fourth time saying, what? And him repeating himself. And he's like, basically saying, tacos are good here. So me sitting down at Burger King with my full meals sit there, and a Burger King employee is basically telling me to get the Burger King taco.
Seeing a man sitting there enjoying his Whopper meal and suggesting the BK taco is the equivalent of going to a 5-star steakhouse, having someone order a filet mignon, medium rare, perfectly cooked, and the waiter asking, "Sir, would you like a side of ketchup?"
Yes.
And holding his best bottle of not Heinz ketchup, but Hunt's.
Yeah, it's signature select ketchup.
It's great value brand.
So now that is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me in a Burger King. And my Burger King is already kind of weird. But that's besides the fact. The fact is that I have been offered the Burger King taco, and you have eaten it.
Yes, so...
And now, I just want to point out, this is a thing that we decided together. We both decided together that we would go to Burger King and try the Burger King taco and talk about it on the podcast. And after I said that, I went to an actual taco place and got Korean barbecue tacos, and you went to Burger King and got the Burger King taco. Because I wasn't taking me seriously when I said that, and I don't know why you did.
It's because I'm a connoisseur of bad food. And so, like you said, I did go to Burger King and I ordered the Burger King taco, which is a steal. I mean, it's $1 per taco. It's slightly cheaper than Taco Bell, but in a sense, you pay more. So I've shown you the photos that I took of the taco.
I mean this when I say this. You took the only accurate photos of the Burger King taco because it needs to be smartphone photos and it can't be dressed up at all. This thing looks like sadness.
It looks like, have you ever gotten a soft shell taco from Taco Bell and opened it up and it just looks like a floppy dick, and then you actually open it up and you're like, oh, there's meat in there. It's fine. And you eat it and you're content.
Yeah. I've done that many a times after buying the Taco Bell box.
Yeah, like tacos. The 12-pack. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Burger King taco makes me want to put a Taco Bell taco on a pedestal. It's not bad. It's one of those things that at $1 per pop, I would eat 5 of them and hate myself, but I would rather buy the 12-pack at Taco Bell and hate myself more.
So, you're describing that, and meanwhile, I had, actual Korean barbecue pulled pork, literally dripping out of the most delicious soft taco I've ever had.
I fucking hate you.
I'm just saying, I think you made the wrong choice.
I fucking hate you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I put you through
much.
That. I like trash food. You know I like trash food. I have a specific order for when I go to McDonald's for the exact type of hamburger I want. That's how picky I am about my trashy food. And I have no desire at all to try anything else from Burger King. Ever. Burger King is the place that brought us the bacon sundae.
Oh my god. So, there are a handful of things that I actually enjoy at Burger King, and that's about it. Because everything else is disappointing.
An ice cream sundae with bacon in it.
Yeah, that was a thing.
So, for my birthday, my parents bought me tickets to a show, and they told me, we're not going to tell you what this is. You just have to come out to this show with us this Friday. We got tickets. They were very hard to get. It's one night only. And I said, okay, sure, fine. Let's do this. Let's fucking do this.
This sounds like a terrible idea, but continue.
It initially started getting weird when I realized, we're pulling into the casino.
Okay.
We're going to the local casino to see a show. And then when we finally got to the show entrance, there's a big sign that said, one night only, Cheech and Chong. Now, my parents might as well just be, two, clip art images of Ronald Reagan. Like, that's my parents. Just one Ronald Reagan and another Ronald Reagan in a dress. So, the idea of, like, so as soon as I saw the sign, my eyes went wide and I was horrified at what was about to happen. Because I'm now going to go and sit with my parents in a room full of Cheech and Chong fans and see Cheech and Chong.
This is very
together.
Confusing. This is
One night
very
only.
confusing.
My mom said, it's your birthday. We wanted to get you to something you would enjoy. And I don't think they realized that what I would have enjoyed was to see this show without my parents.
It's so nice of them to have gone with you, though.
It's so nice of them to have bought 3 tickets to a show that I definitely did not want to see with them.
Oh my god.
So the show opens, and it gets straight on with the Trump hate, as you would expect from a Cheech and Chong show. A
Yes.
show, again, dedicated to stoner jokes and the legalization of pot.
Yes.
And of course, the Trump small dick jokes come out. And of course, lots of extremely crass humor comes out, like talking about like what it's like, gagging on dick jokes, pussy smells like fish jokes. Yeah, if you could imagine what Cheech and Chong were going to bring, they brought it. It was all there. And I discovered something that I did not want to discover. And that is, my parents have a sense of humor.
I need to stop you for a second, because I can imagine, like, I can't imagine this actually, but I like the thought of them telling like a stinky vagina joke and your dad turns to you and go, "That's right, your mom does smell down there."
So, I just want to show you put this image in your head. My dad spent the entire show with his arms crossed.
Okay.
He did smile, he did laugh, but he never got rid of that arms crossed posture, as if he needed to make sure that whoever on stage saw him judging them.
They need to know that he was disappointed the entire time.
Visible and vocal disapproval at times. My mom was laughing so much.
Oh my goodness. That's not what I expected from this.
And occasionally my mom would poke me in the shoulder and ask, "What's a bong?" Or, "Is that really what happens on weed?" Or questions like I would expect my mom to be asking. My dad also nudged me and asked, "What's a bong?" To which I did not respond. And then finally, at the very end of the show, to just seal the deal and how awkward this evening was, Cheech and Chong said, "Light up your phones if you're for legalization of pot." And everyone's bringing out their phones, and I'm just sitting there with my arms crossed next to my dad, who's sitting there with his arms crossed. Because it's just, I can't. This is the worst night of my life.
For very different reasons.
Yes. So that was my birthday.
Your dad kept his arm crossed to show his disappointment, and you crossed your arms to prevent yourself from being disappointed.
Yeah. This is the weirdest thing ever happened after the show. Was my mom said to me, "They're signing things over there. We should get in that line. We should get a T-shirt." And I'm just like, "Mom, when would I ever wear a Cheech and Chong shirt?"
More importantly, when would you, Mom?
And that was the most surreal night of my life. Just can't fucking believe that happened. So then I went home, and this is like I got home at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, you got home pretty late.
Yeah, and then I just sat home and played Bloodstained on my Xbox One.
I mean, that sounds like a good birthday.
Yeah, Cheech and Chong and Bloodstained on my Xbox One. But that Bloodstained got me thinking, because We don't talk about video games a lot on this show because, let's face it, I've podcasted about video games for most of my life and I'm fucking sick of it.
Yeah.
But Bloodstained got me thinking, because basically Bloodstained came out by one of the, I think it was Igarashi? I don't know. One of those Japanese people who make video games.
It was.
Yeah, and he basically made Castlevania, made it look like Castlevania, made it play like Castlevania, basically made a Castlevania game and called it Bloodstained.
He made Castlevania great again.
Yes. But that got me thinking. If you can just make a game that is exactly like another game and just call it something else, and that's fine, we should do that.
And people do that all the time. Have you seen all the Pokemon knockoffs on the Play Store? They're everywhere.
Yeah, that's a bit. But we're not going to be knocking off Pokemon. We're going to be making an FMV game.
Because I love FMV game.
Oh my god, how young are you? Really? You don't remember old PC FMV games?
What does FMV stand for?
Full motion video. They made a lot of games back then. They were basically just point-and-click games that occasionally came up with videos that you could watch. Like Wing Commander had FMV in it. Lots of Sega CD games have FMV in it. Night Trap! Night Trap's an FMV game.
Oh, okay. Night Trap.
So you know what an FMV game is.
Okay, yeah.
So we should do that. That seems easy enough. I know how to use cameras, and you know how to make video games.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. I see you program computers for that thing you do with jobs.
You sound like my mom.
Yeah. Yeah, you do the computer job. My mom says the same thing to me. You should talk to my son. He does computers. He's a developer. He can tell you, he could set up your computer for you. No, I won't, Mom. No, I won't.
I don't want to detract from your FMV conversation, but I do have to add to this subject. I am a software developer as a career, and my mom constantly asks me why someone would pay you to play video games on the computer all day. and the other day, I was at home. I was on my personal computer, unbeknownst to my dad, actually taking care of bills, and he got angry at me because I was on the computer all day at work. Why are you still on the computer when you got home?
No, I get that too. My parents give me the same thing. As soon as I get done work, my mom asks, why am I not on the farm? I'm like, because I'm working all day.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you haven't.
But anyways, back to your shitty Night Trap.
No, it's not. It's going to be Silent Hill. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow you into a town, your town, and I will just be videotaping the whole thing and vaping constantly. And we're like, oh, it's foggy, it's spooky, it's Silent Hill.
And these are the actual sound effects that are going on.
Yeah, that's just me, like, making sounds.
It's just you undulating at the camera.
And we're going to explore houses. We're going to kick your neighbor's door down and explore his house while I continue to vape in the house. And we'll just film you doing that, and that'll be a video game.
Yeah, but where's the user interactions in that?
Well, it's just like, you'll be like, oh no, what should I do now? Because you'll see your neighbor's dog just lying on the couch. And I'll be looking at the camera and be like, oh my god, it's a zombie dog. What do we do?
I like the idea that you're in this game not as only the narrator, but that frat boy that looks in the camera.
Yeah. It's for the spooky atmosphere. The player will never know what's going to happen next.
This is a terrible game. How do you get to, how do we go from making games for the TI-83 to this?
Yeah, that was an idea I had while filling up with gas at Wawa, and then I decided to call Flocky and tell him about it.
Video game ideas are the worst, because as someone who's started conceptually and actually programming and all that stuff for a bunch of video game concepts in high school,
Oh yeah,
I have
we all
finished absolutely none of them.
Oh yeah, we all did. Like I tried to make a text adventure game, and that never panned out. I tried to make so much shit. I tried to do so much with my life, and my life is just, I'm just looking around right now, and I see cans of Bud Light, Deer Park water, and Haribo gummy bears. Everything went wrong with my life. I was supposed to be something. Said I'm talking to this dickhole on Skype.
Wow. Skype. I like canonically in Pocky and Flocky Shit Show canon, we are using Skype.
Yes.
This is canon now.
Well, we can't use MSN. Speaking of high school, because, like, one of the things that I did in high school that I feel like you missed out on, especially since you don't know about FMV games, for fuck's sake, was the glory of AOL chat rooms. And we've talked about AOL chat rooms in a previous episode, but I didn't tell you what I used them for.
So what can you possibly use them for? Because my experience being, I guess, how old was I? Windows
I don't know.
98. It was around Windows 98. So when I was 8 years old and I had AOL, the thing I did was go into chat rooms and try to find people to talk about Pokemon with. That was all I ever did.
That is so much more pure than what I did with
That's
AOL
all,
chat
because
rooms.
that was my only interest at the time was Pokemon, and so I would always go to the AOL Pokemon chat room and then try to find friends to add to my buddy list.
Maybe I lured some of your potential friends to me. Because what I did with AOL chat rooms, is I used to go to my friend's house, and I forgot his name, so he must not be important. But he had AOL before me, because my parents were super strict and didn't want my mind being warped by computers. See how well that worked out for them. So we would sign into his AOL account, and we'd go into chat rooms, and we'd go into the people just basically looking to chat, like, and wanting to cyber. And so we pretend to be like a 16-year-old girl and try to hook in as many of the old men there into cybering with us.
So,
and then doing it so poorly.
Did you
Poorly.
know what you were doing at, like, how old were you at the time? And did you know what you were doing?
Well, I now know that it has a name, but for us, it didn't have a name. It was just what you did with AOL. That's how you used AOL. You got your mail, you checked the news and the weather, and you catfished old men. It's what you do.
I have no words because we're talking about the same year and the same environment, and I'm adding random people I thought were cool to my buddy list to ping them a day later and them asking me, who the fuck are you? Trying my best to make Pokemon friends. And you're telling me you were catfishing creepy old men on AOL chat rooms.
ASL want a cyber?
Oh, were those actual things you typed?
Yeah!
Did you know what cybering was?
Of course we did. I mean, we weren't good at it, but of course we knew.
Did you ever get that dick pic that made you go, oh boy, we need to stop?
I want to say this was pre-possibility of getting a dick pic. I want to say that. Because everything in AOL was so contained in the chat rooms. So it's not like you were going off into it was, I don't know. I don't remember
You
how
could
it
have.
worked.
Because they still show your screen name. They could have emailed you because they wouldn't have to find your email. It was just their username in AOL.
Oh yeah, we got mail. It's just, you know what? I guess we got lucky that we never received a dick pic. But it was never like a thing where, like, I would never go into AOL by myself and be like, ugh, want a cyber? It was always like an activity where you get the guys together and let's fuck with people. I can't be the only one. I can't be the only one. You're making me sound
You
crazy.
can't be the only one. But I also forget that you and I are not the same age. So when I was fascinating over Pokemon at the same time, you were in a different age group catfishing old men.
Yeah, and also, and again, group activity is one of my, I still remember this evening. And this is one of my favorite, like, high school memories. One, it's the night we discovered tubgirl.com.
Oh my god. That's the end of this discussion.
Because basically we went on AOL, again, all the lads together, and we tried to find the grossest thing on the internet we could possibly find. For the record, Tubgirl won. That definitely won.
What was the competition?
It was just gross out. Just a gross out competition.
No, like what was Tubgirl up against? Was she up against Goatsy? Was Lemon Party a thing back then?
You know what? I don't know. All I know is that Tubgirl left a lasting impression. Like, we probably saw other things that night that were horrifying, but nothing tops Tubgirl as far as searing an image into my brain.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Oh. No, high school was fun.
So you're telling me in high school, not only were you a catfisher and a liar, you've also told me that you were a rapper.
Oh, no. I forgot I told you this. I forgot I told you this. Oh, God, yeah. So, in high school, before high school, my friends basically, no, not my friends, my parents.
Which were your friends at the time, probably. Your only friends at the time.
Oh my God, you're probably right. The only music I was ever exposed to was country music.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all.
I was desperate to get out of that into anything cool, to the point where I became like an enormous music poser. Where I was like, people are talking about like, they're listening to their parents' Led Zeppelin. I was like, so am I. Don't ask me anything about it. Please don't ask me anything about it. But yeah, but what I actually found out I ended up loving was several things. One, I was huge into Backstreet Boys.
Okay.
Loved Backstreet Boys.
Yes.
Because every time I breathe, you take me in.
So
my heart beats again.
I don't want to again
help it. You'd be drowning in your love.
Again, I don't want to segue away from the rapper story because it's very important that we do get to that. But I grew up with an older sister, and so she was really into Backstreet Boys, and I'm not gonna say like I was forced into it, but you know, when that's the only music playing in the house, you get addicted. You get exposed and you get addicted.
And you want it that way.
And I do. And so, like, I grew up absolutely loving the Backstreet Boys. And
it's because they were awesome. They were so much better than NSYNC and 98 Degrees and whatever shit's coming up now. What shit's new? I don't fucking know.
And Nick Carter was so much cuter than Justin Timberlake. Like, don't at me. Don't even fucking at me.
And AJ was the coolest. AJ was definitely the coolest of the group. Like, he did it without even trying. He had the awesome hat. He had a cane. He had a vanity cane. Who does that? It's awesome. Fucking love the Backstreet Boys. Millennium was a great album. Anyways.
God. Okay, back to rap.
I loved Backstreet Boys, and I loved Beastie Boys, and then I loved Eminem. And that was the three things I listened to in high school. I got inspired, and I started rapping, and that's became my thing. It became a thing that I wasn't embarrassed of, and I really, really should have been.
You really should have.
I really, really, really should have been.
So that's I assume that's what most, if not all of us, feel about things that we did
I
in
made
high
a
school.
GeoCities page for my music so that everyone could know what I was doing. I had an email newsletter where I'd let people know what I was doing in my music. This was Twitter before Twitter.
Oh my God.
And without a character limit. And I could use any font I wanted. You got mail, motherfuckers.
Oh my god.
I am such an embarrassment. Like, I still have some of that music somewhere, and that will go with me to the grave. No one is hearing that.
I want to hear it. Can I hear it?
No. No one could hear it.
The greatest thing that could possibly happen is that you find that somehow, and that becomes the outro for this episode. That would be my greatest wish.
I am sweating my fucking nuts off recording this show because I have to turn off the air conditioner, otherwise it overpowers the microphone, and you mock me with this. You mock me as I'm wiping sweat out from under my tits. You mock me. Oh my God,
I feel
so
like
sad.
you've been doing most of the talking today and have told enough embarrassing stories about yourself that it warrants I tell an embarrassing story about myself.
Okay. Does it involve the Backstreet Boys?
No.
Okay.
But it does involve prom.
Oh no.
Senior year of high school, I had a really big crush. We've been friends for a while. We hung out all the time. We hung out during lunch. We hung out before and after school.
Yeah, that sounds like that's the story. That's how it goes.
Yeah, and we lived fairly close to each other, and there have been a few times where we've met outside of school just to talk and walk around the neighborhood.
Oh, did you do that thing where you spent so much time on the phone that your mom had to get on the phone and say, "Get off the fucking phone"?
No, I was never a phone person, but that was in the days of MySpace and AIM, and we used to message all the time, and that's that shoujo manga shit. This is perfect. Everything's perfect. I just need to find the perfect moment to confess my love, and then we'll live happily ever after. Right? As shoujo manga goes. So we were in class together, and completely unexpected, out of nowhere, she turns to me and asks me, "Would you go to prom with me?"
Oh!
My brain is like, what? Number one, what is happening? Number two, is this happening? Number three, this is happening. Number four, I can't go to prom. And that's the one I say. The biggest crush that I've ever had in high school turns to me and asks me, "Would you go to prom with me?" And I respond with, "I can't go to prom." No context. No context.
And I'll look down and say no.
There is context, but I did not give it to her. The context is, I have a sister who's 2 years older than me. My parents have always been more strict with her for obvious reasons than they have been with me. She was unable to go to prom because my parents don't believe in that stuff. But I firmly believe
your parents are so Asian.
They're so strict. They're dating after marriage kind of. That's a joke, obviously, but they're those kind of parents. But I think with me, they would have trusted me enough to let me go. And so the dilemma was, I either ask and not be able to go, which sucks anyways, or I go and my sister hates me for the rest of my life, because then she has ammo to be like, "You're the favorite child, and everyone hates me, and that's not fair." So it was a lose-lose situation for me. That's the context. My crush at the time knew none of that. I just turned her down for prom, senior year. And I didn't know what to say. I was just like, "I'm sorry, I can't go to prom."
You looked so cool in hindsight, though, if you said it like that. But I'm imagining instead you were just like, you looked like a scared rabbit, frozen as the fox moves in, and you're like, "I can't go to prom."
Yeah, it was. I would say it's more accurate that it was like that. A week or two afterwards, or maybe a month afterwards, she started going
She died.
out. She started going out with one of my best friends.
So she's definitely dead to you now.
She's not dead to me. I'm dead to me. Like that was the
In the made-for-TV movie of your life, she died in a car accident. Immediately, the same day.
out of sadness, like she was driving home crying that she got turned down and died.
No, she was driving home and did a bong rip.
She did a bong rip while popping a wheelie in her 16-wheeler. And then she died. And then
on a motorcycle, doing flips in the air. And as she's flipping through the air to her death, there's a person alongside the road. She high-fives them and then explodes into a ball of fire. And to this day, you still have a shrine of her in your house. Except that you don't actually have any memories from her, so it's just a yearbook and an anime statue.
So yeah, that's my story.
That's not a funny story. That's just sad. How you killed her.
It's
This was probably the most real episode we've done so far.
It's so unfortunate how real this was because
there was barely any fantasy, fantastical ideas or weirdness. It was just I had a weird birthday and you had the worst prom.
I mean, minus the triple wheelie bong rip high five part.
Oh yeah, and High School Tom was a reverse pedophile.
Oh my god. So, I guess before we end this, Endgame comes out the end of this month on Blu-ray or digital download.
We're finally going to watch that.
So, yeah, we're finally gonna watch Endgame. We'll finally know if Wong was actually in Endgame or not.
Yeah, that's...
So after we watch Endgame together, I can finally start writing the first drafts of the Wonger Years. You think that's a joke. It's not. Yeah, I can poop whenever I want.